Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nagios founder and president, Ethan Galstad.
Thank you, everybody. It's great to be here. On behalf of everyone at Nagios, I'd like to welcome you all to our 2015 conference. This is a super exciting time of the year for us. There's always a lot of great energy here. As many of you know, a lot of people are repeat attendees. We recognize a lot of people. We made a lot of great friendships over the years. And thank you for those of you who are returning. We really appreciate it. For those of you who are first-time attendees, we're sure you're going to find this conference enjoyable. We have a lot of informative speakers here. The attendees are great, and our staff is fantastic. We've got a lot of great things in store for you, so we're sure you're going to enjoy it, so welcome. In a moment, I'm going to introduce our CTO, Scott Wilkerson. He's going to tell you a little bit more about Nagios, kind of what solutions are available and some of the newest things that have happened. One of the things that we always hear after previous year's conferences, we meet so many great people. We hear about how they're deploying Nagios, how Nagios has changed kind of the way they work, how efficient their organization is. And it's amazing for us to hear how people are using it and leveraging it. And one of the things we always hear from people too is they leave this conference with just a ton of great ideas that they're going to take back with them to implement in their organization. I mean, people always say, it's going to take me 6 months to actually implement all the stuff that I figured out or I've heard about here. And that's one of the great things about this event. I think one of the things that people love about it most is the networking. We have great presenters. They're fantastic. You're going to enjoy that. But the bulk of the knowledge is right here. It's all of you. I mean, you're all technical people. You're either sysadmins or network admins. You're in DevOps. You're a developer. You're a manager of some kind. You're in charge of either managing an infrastructure, whether it's small or large, or you're dependent upon that infrastructure to make sure it's working properly to deliver the services that you're developing. So you're all really technical people, and the people around you have you don't have all of your problems solved. You've got challenges on your plate right now that you're looking to solve. How do you scale Nagios? How do you deal with the infrastructure that you have that's growing? Well, the people around you, a lot of them have already solved these challenges. There are, as you know, in technology, there's a dozen ways to do a certain thing. And those different ways of doing things have their pros and cons. And you can short circuit a lot of the testing and the training and the trial and error by learning from fellow attendees and talking with them. So take advantage of that opportunity to just meet everybody at the conference that you can. It's really an awesome opportunity. As you know, I mean, we're all in technology, we're all technical, and technology keeps changing. Things change really fast. A lot of things have changed since Nagios was first released. I had more hair, for one thing. But the pace of technology changes very quickly, and it keeps getting faster. Things move faster, data gets bigger, systems get more complex and more interconnected, and it's more important than ever to make sure that things run smoothly. All of us here, in one way or another, we're tasked with ensuring that things do run smoothly. When things break, it likely falls on your plate or on somebody else's plate in your department. So tools like Nagios can help you. They can't solve everything, but just by monitoring, whether it's a metric on a server or traffic on a router or switch or information in your log data, Nagios can help you spot problems that are out there because you've got a lot on your plate. You can't have everything on your radar at any given time. So it can help you spot those problems and hopefully fix any problems that are out there to prevent or minimize outages and downtime. It can also help you ideally become more proactive. So you're not only just fighting the fires that are out there, but you can actually see trends happening and spot problems that are starting to grow before they actually become critical issues that cause major, potentially cascading failures. It's amazing. When things, started out, a couple of years ago especially, people were mainly concerned with their organization, their company's IT infrastructure, making sure things are running smoothly. But as we've progress with technology changing, systems get more complex. I mean, if your company runs, if you've got a website that you deliver services or goods from, you're likely not just relying upon your infrastructure. You've got vendors and partners. You've got your systems integrated with theirs, and their stuff needs to be working as well. Otherwise, you can't deliver your end product or deliverables to the customer. A good example of a complexity in systems is, we don't think about it very often, but as a society, we built incredible systems that rely on IT that we don't even think about because they work for the most part most of the time. I mean, it's really easy for any of us to go, down the block and go buy something at a store and pay with it, with our check card or debit card, without thinking about the hundreds of IT systems that are in place that were required to develop, engineer, manufacture, ship, warehouse, and finally deliver the product to the store where you're buying it from. I mean, we all realize, well, if the credit card companies or machines are down, we can't buy something. That's one point of failure. But in order to actually deliver a product or a service to you, a lot of things happen, and it's a incredible system that we've set up as a society. It requires a lot of different systems from a lot of different companies, vendors to work. That's an example of complexity. We want systems like that to work. It's really important that we all be able to go to the store and buy something that we need. And that's where solutions like Nagios can come into play. They can not only help you with your organization stuff, but taking a look at the bigger picture and helping to monitor the bigger systems that we have in play. It's something that's really critical to all of us. Like I said, we've got some great sessions over the next 2 days. Attend the sessions, learn as much as you can, talk to the attendees. You guys, everybody here, you're the greatest resource at this conference. So definitely spend time together and enjoy yourself above and all, above everything else. You're gonna have a good time meeting other people at the evening event, whatever it might be. So just have a good time. Anyway, with that, I'm going to introduce Nagios CTO Scott Wilkerson. He's going to tell you a little bit more about the overall Nagios solutions that are available, as well as some of the newer things that have happened. Scott, why don't you come up on stage and take it away? Thanks,
everybody. Welcome, everybody. This is kind of a great honor to be here on stage at the 5th Nagios World Conference. As Ethan said earlier, we all, from within Nagios, recognize people year to year, and it's great to see that there's a lot of different attendees. The networking opportunities that are available here by meeting the people, getting the knowledge that's available from the other attendees is really incredible. Actually, last night I had an opportunity to talk entirely too much. So hopefully my voice will hold up. But in meeting some of the new attendees and sharing some information with some of the previous attendees that I've met in the past, I was able to find out that the people are actually using Nagios products in ways that I had never really imagined, and I work with it every day. So take the opportunity, as Ethan had mentioned, also to network with one another, to ask each other questions, to get the information that's available from all of the people that are in this room. There's a lot of different Nagios solutions now. In years past, there was one Nagios solution. It was what we now call Nagios Core, originally started as NetSaint. And there's a lot of different solutions that Nagios provides now, and I'll be covering several of them, kind of basically telling you what they do and going through them one by one. Often people don't realize where all Nagios solutions are deployed. So I went ahead and put together some information. Nagios solutions actually are deployed globally. They're deployed in every continent, and from what I understand, they're even monitoring items in space, so that's pretty cool. They're deployed in every industry sector, be it government, manufacturing, healthcare. Excuse me. Last year, I even had the opportunity to hear about somebody who's using Nagios to monitor bees, and that's pretty cool. So I'll classify that under agriculture. So it's used by small businesses, even home users use it to monitor items like sensors, water detection sensors, temperature sensors, et cetera. And it's also used by large companies. Many of you fall into the large company category, as well as the multinational megacorp. And last night I had the opportunity to speak to an attendee, and he told me that in their first year rolling out Nagios, just the beginning of the rollout, they've already saved their organization $54 million. And that's pretty impressive for a product that essentially can be free. So that graphic that I had up there with the sparkly lights is kind of neat, but I took the opportunity to create one with a product that we had just released last year called Nagios LogServer. And I actually took the last 20,000 checks that came in. It was like a version check. So Nagios Core actually has the ability to check to see if there's a new version available. So we collect that data, that's just Apache logs, and we process it through LogServer. So this is an actual representation of what your log data, or of where the users in the world are that are using some of our solutions. So when I say Nagios solutions, there's a whole plethora of things that actually make up the ecosystem. First, there's Nagios Core, which was originally released as NetSaint in 1999. Nagios Core is the hub that provides basic monitoring. It can reach out to a particular system, get a return. Is it okay? Is it not okay? It can do some basic general alerting, provide a reporting such as availability report, trends over time, and then it can take actions on the events that are happening. So if items go into a not okay state, you actually have event handlers that you can actually react to events and make them possibly take corrective action, add them to a ticketing system, et cetera. But Nagios Core is also very extendable. As a matter of fact, it requires that you extend it with another item such as a plugin. A plugin is something that actually is used to actually perform the check, to talk to a web server, to reach out to a Linux machine to find out if a service is running. So in-house, we also manage a primary plugins package called Nagios Plugins. And that has, it's a core collection of about 50 different core plugins to be able to check like web services, check SNMP services, et cetera. In addition to that, another add-on that we maintain in-house is called NDO Utils. And NDO Utils is the connector for databases. So if you take all that Nagios data, you want to stuff it into a database to be able to manipulate the data, get reports, information out of that. NDO Utils is the process for that. In addition to that, there's a whole slew of different agents and agent receivers that we maintain in-house. NRPE, NCPA, NRDS, NRDP, NSCA. It's a big acronym soup, but these are the pieces that either receive the data from your remote systems or you install on your remote systems to be able to connect to them. And in addition to that, maintained in-house is a Nagios Core front end called Nagios vShell. Some people want a different visualization, a different way to interact with the data, and vShell is that. In addition to what we maintain in-house, there's about 5,600 different items available on the Nagios Exchange. And these are items that are add-ons to Nagios solutions. So they could be check plugins or ways to extend or visualize your data a little bit differently. And so definitely check out the Nagios Exchange. If you're not familiar with that website, exchange.nagios.org. It's actually just fabulous that the community has come together to provide so many different plugins and add-ons and extensions for the open source product. In 2009, Nagios released its first commercial-based product, and that's Nagios XI. And Nagios XI took the fundamental pieces of the open source projects that we maintained, as well as some additional items to give an enhanced user interface. We added the ability for individual users to create views and dashboards, and the things that the community had said, it would be better experience if we actually had these extra items. It has advanced reporting, so all of the reporting that is available within Nagios Core is available, but you also can do things like see service level agreements, see capacity planning, where you take your performance data that you've collected in the past and project it out into the future and see where maybe you're going down the road. It also has some other advanced visualizations such as BB maps, Google Map overlays, et cetera. In addition to that, Nagios XI also has auto discovery. So you can actually probe your network automatically to reach out, see what devices are there. It can be used for multi-purpose. You can use it to actually see what devices are there that you maybe want to monitor, and you can also use it to see what devices are there that you don't expect to be there. Did somebody come and plug a computer into your LAN port that you weren't expecting? Could it be a rogue PC? So that's available in the base Nagios XI as well. And then there's a ton of configuration wizards. There's nearly 60 configuration wizards available in Nagios XI out of the box, and that's just to assist you in creating the configuration files that are necessary to pass to the underlying core monitoring engine. So it just walks you through a step-by-step process and takes you through those. And I had mentioned there's also some better visualizations, so that the data that you graph, you can actually, you can overlay graphing information on top of one another. You can just visualize it a ton of different ways. We have heat maps, et cetera, all built into Nagios XI. Now last year at our conference, we had a developer meetup where my bladder almost burst because it was 2 hours long and there was no breaks. And when we walked out of that room, we actually had a solid list of key items that people wanted in several of our products. So we took that list back to the office and added in the items that we already knew that we wanted. And what we came up with was the XI feature guide that was going to be added in the next year in the Nagios XI. And yesterday, I'm proud to say that we released XI5, and it's actually just phenomenal. It took a lot of work, both from the development department as well as our sales and marketing to create all the collateral, the support department to test this all and make sure it all works. But we've restyled the UI completely, and it's pretty phenomenal. A lot of focus was designed on user experience to make it easier to get to the things that you want to do, or to not take you away from the page that's important to you, just bringing up the element that you need to access in a modal. Nagios XI5 has smarter wizards built into it. The WMI wizard, the Windows SNMP wizard, and the Linux SNMP wizard all have the ability to actually reach out to the device in which you're intending to monitor, and it will pull down automatically a list of what drives or mount points are available to be monitored, what services are currently installed on that system, as well as what processes are currently running, to give you an idea what type of machine you're looking at when you go to monitor the item. In addition to that, for those familiar with Nagios XI, you know that the wizards, while functional, made it a little bit difficult if you wanted to run the same configuration over and over. So in XI5, we've added wizard templates, whereas as you go through the steps in the wizard, you actually can decide that I'm going to save this as a template because this is a very specific type of system. I want to always add the same contact groups, host groups. It has the same parent host. I want to check it at the same frequency. And once you save that in a template, when you deploy a wizard in the future, you actually set your base elements, such as the host, click the deploy with template, and it automatically applies all those items for you. So it really makes it pretty easy. In addition to that, we've added the ability to import AD and LDAP users. So the Active Directory and LDAP users have been completely, or a component has been completely rewritten. You can connect multiple Active Directory LDAP servers for authentication into the system, and you can connect to those servers and download users on that and automatically import them into Nagios XI, giving them the credentials that you want. In addition to all of that, we also added a new configuration API, where with the new configuration API, you actually have the ability to programmatically reach out to the Nagios XI system to automatically add hosts, services, contacts, contact groups, et cetera. So you can add all of that programmatically through a newly added JSON API, as well as extending the information that you can get out of the system. So if you want to pull data out of the system to feed it into other visual displays, et cetera, or just get a list of what hosts you have, all those are available. And the list really goes on and on. There's going to be additional information about what's available in XI5. In several sessions later on, Seamus Demaray at 1:30 is going to kind of go into some of the products a little bit more depth. In addition to that, we have demo stations that after this meeting will be available in the entryway. And we have copies of XI5 that we can put on your USB wristbands available out there. So definitely grab a copy or play with it on the demo stations. See how things have changed, because it really is a phenomenal product. And the feedback that we got when we did our beta run a couple days ago, literally just a couple days ago, the feedback we got from longtime users is that the application really has been enhanced in such a way that it has arrived and is a far superior product to even our previous version. So we're really happy about that. With that, there's actually a lot of other Nagios solutions and products that are available. So I'm going to cover some of them briefly. In 2013, we released a product called Nagios Network Analyzer, which is a net flow or a network flow analysis tool. And it gives you the ability to take NetFlow, S-Flow, J-Flow, flow-enabled network devices, send that data back to Network Analyzer, and visualize the data that you have. So you can see who's talking to who, what IP is communicating with what IP, on what port, how much data was sent, et cetera. It's a great tool for like bandwidth monitoring also, because you can see how much bandwidth is going inbound and outbound on every single IP that's going through the NetFlow device. In addition to that, it can be used to detect security breaches, or hopefully pre-detect security breach attempts. So if somebody's trying to come in on a particular port or series of ports, you can hopefully detect that and alert on that in advance. This year, some new features that we added in Network Analyzer, again, was the ability to import Active Directory and LDAP users. And this is kind of a foundational thing. You'll see this in the next several slides, that one of the things we heard over and over in the feedback that we got back from the people that use our products is that they really need easier integration with other solutions, either easier to integrate with their Active Directory or LDAP users, authenticate through that, et cetera. So this has been added to just about all of the products. The other thing that was added in the last year is the 95th percentile calculator for bandwidth. A lot of organizations bill, even internally, they build other departments based on how much bandwidth is used within the organization from point to point. So you can calculate bandwidth on the 95th percentile automatically right within the software. Last year was my first big product launch, and it was pretty cool. Last year, at the 2014 World Conference, we launched a product called Nagios LogServer. What Nagios LogServer is it's a centralized log collection and analysis platform. It gives you the ability to take system logs, Windows logs, really any type of machine-generated log data, and send it into one centralized cluster of servers that actually can take that data and give you the ability to query and pull out the information that you want. Because it's designed to be built on a cluster, it's scalable to petabytes of data. You can just literally just send all of your machine's data into a single cluster, and you can actually analyze the data and search the data, filtering down to the minuscule bits that are important to your organization. So definitely take a chance to play with that out of the demo stations too. If you're not familiar with the product, it's fantastic, and we're getting great feedback over and over on it. So some of the new features that have come out in the recent year in LogServer, again, importing of AD and LDAP users, and we added internationalization support. So now for the first time, you actually have the ability to use this product with 13 different languages. And Nagios LogServer, I'll step back just a little bit. It's built on top of the ELK stack, Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. They're open source projects, so it's built on an open source framework. But what we've done is extended the Kibana UI in such a way that it, in my opinion, is far superior to the one that is produced in the open source version. They've moved to a different path, so we couldn't take our changes and contribute them back, but they are available in LogServer. And we also added easy alert editing. So LogServer has the ability to create alerts on the particular items that you want. So maybe you want to detect if there's failed logins as a root user or something of that nature. And if a certain threshold is breached, you can send out an alert. So we added in the ability to easily edit those so you can change your thresholds, et cetera, and have either notifications sent out via email alert. You can pass them on to other Nagios products, either Nagios Core or Nagios XI. In 2012, we released a product called Incident Manager. And it was a direct result of people actually wanting something outside of the Nagios product to be able to manage incidents as they occurred. Even though they were using Nagios to monitor their various items, they wanted the ability to take the issues and have a log so they can track the events over time. And they can track the steps that their team members are taking to resolve issues, and they wanted that in one central location. So what Incident Manager does, it gives you the ability to collaborate together with members of a team and keep track of the elements that you're working on, and have that available to you either in the future so you can recall items in the past, or for management, sometimes they want to keep track of items like how long did it take us to resolve these problems. So as the incident occurs, the clock starts ticking, and it has the ability to automatically communicate back with your Nagios solutions to acknowledge the problems. And then the report is generated to give you like a mean time to resolution. So you have several different reports, but the mean time to resolution is probably the most interesting to the upper management, because they want to know when problems occur, how long does it take our team to actually react to these, and can we improve on that? As I mentioned, Incident Manager does integrate directly with Nagios Core and Nagios XI. You can have them automatically create tickets in Incident Manager. Incident Manager can then acknowledge problems, add comments, for example, into your Nagios XI installation as you go along. And in addition to that, something that most people don't really realize that even use Incident Manager is that it actually has the ability to integrate with any system. It has a fully functional API, so the adding of incidents, adding of comments to incidents, and extracting data out of there can really be sent by any system. So you can just access it all with a REST API. Finally, we have Nagios Fusion. And Nagios Fusion, for those that aren't familiar, it's a way as enterprises grow to connect multiple Nagios solutions together, be it Nagios Core solutions or Nagios XI. You actually have the ability to connect multiple of those servers together and get one centralized view, so you can see the data from your core server and your XI server, 1, 2, 5, 10 of them, all in one central location. It allows you to easily drill down into the specific server that you're looking on, so you can see problems as they arise on different segments of your monitoring infrastructure, and you can drill right into the specific problem to do some remediation. So it has multi-server visualizations as well, bar graphs, line graphs, charts, et cetera. And it has customized dashboards and views, so you can actually integrate pieces from your Nagios Core XI installations into the views and dashboards as well. On the roadmap for Fusion, so this is not completed yet, but this is coming down the pipe as our next major project. We plan on adding and reworking completely the authentication process that Fusion uses. It's going to have single sign-on authentication with all of our other products, whereas you'll be able to actually log into Fusion as a particular user and have you automatically logged into all of the Nagios applications that it's connected with as that user. We also are going to add in direct configuration, so right from your Fusion server, you'll be able to run configuration wizards on an XI system. You'll be able to log into the core configuration manager and update configuration files on a very specific system, all as the user that you're authenticated in. In addition to that, it will also have that AD and LDAP integration, so you actually can add users out of AD and LDAP into Fusion, and then have those same users be able to be authenticated to all of your other products, such as Nagios XI, Nagios LogServer, Nagios Network Analyzer. What it really comes down to is community. As I mentioned earlier, the Exchange has about 5,600 add-ons that are available for those of you that are interested to download. Most of them are plugins, and we develop maybe a handful of them in-house. The rest of them are developed by the community, and that's really what makes Nagios so strong, is that we have a large community, millions of users. They're contributing back the items that are useful to other people, and that's pretty cool. For us, we like the feedback that we get. Last year and the year before, we had big developer meetups, and we gathered some key information that helps us drive the roadmap of what gets in the product. And we'd like that to continue. So outside of our conference time, you can always feel free to give feedback, post an issue, post a feature request. For the open source products, the easiest way is right directly on our GitHub page. It's github.nagios.com/Nagios Enterprises. All of the projects that I mentioned earlier that are open source are listed there. In addition to that, the one item that isn't listed there is a Nagios plugins project. It's a little special. It has its own GitHub page because it's a foundational item that needs that resided before the Nagios Enterprises moved to GitHub. It actually moved there first, and we didn't want to move it around. So definitely take the opportunity to, if you have something that you'd like to see in the product and you think about it after we leave the confines of the Crown Plaza, definitely feel free to add the issues there. We love to hear the feedback. Or you can always go to the support forum, support.nagios.com/forum. And our support team and technical team love to hear feedback. Maybe not, they might not love to hear bugs, but they love to hear feedback about new features and ideas, just like we like to hear about them here. In addition to that, as Ethan had mentioned earlier, we do have set up a time for a developer meetup tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. in track 3. It's right at the bottom of the escalator. So right at the bottom of the escalator, you take a left. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. It is 2 hours, but I might leave to go to the bathroom. So that's tomorrow at 10. Let's see, what else do I have left? Please take the opportunity to contribute the items that you think are useful to other people back to us, either for if you have a pull request to make on one of our open source projects, but more importantly, plugins that you've written or you've written that have value outside of the walls of your organization. If you have the ability to do so within your corporate policy, share those for other people to use. It's really important, and it's what makes the community so strong, is that all of that is available. When you need to monitor a certain type of thing, if you need to monitor processes on a Linux machine, and you need to do that very specifically, if somebody already has created the plugin and made it available, it's there for everybody to use. So with that, I look forward over the course of the next 2 days to meeting those of you that I haven't met and catching up with those that I've known from the past. I like to take the opportunity to use the 2 days that we have to pick your brain a little bit and find out how we can make our products and projects better. Definitely feel free to grab me and tell me about how you've taken the projects and products and customized them or drove them to meet the needs of your organization. And if you need something in the product, definitely let us know. With that, everybody, enjoy the conference.